Oh boy. So, to all of the new people who watched my previous video, thank you for checking it out. And hopefully you enjoy this one as well, because the series is just getting better.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm back to give my spoiler review for episodes 4 through 6 of The Legend of Vox Machina. This is a spoiler review, so you have been warned. I will be talking in depth and spoilery about the three newest episodes of Amazon Prime's newest series, which is fantastic, by the way. So you've been warned. Make sure that you have watched the episodes before checking out my video, or if you don't care about spoilers and just want to hear my overall thoughts on it as well, please stick around and like this video as well. And if this happens to be your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name is Will. Like I just said, I do this sort of geeky thing on the internet, and I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, some gaming, some drinking, a whole bunch of stuff, but usually all wrapped around geekiness. If you would like to hear and watch some of my content, why not also subscribe to the channel? I would definitely love to get to know you. I had such a great comment in my episode 1 through 3 video for The Legend of Vox Machina last week, and it was so much fun hearing you all's input and thoughts on the episode, as well as if you're a longtime critter and you came up with Vox Machina in Campaign 1, how you feel about some of the changes that they're making, or how you feel about where that story is going. It was really fun to get that sort of interaction on that video, and I'm very thankful to everyone who has watched that video, and hopefully you did enjoy it. And for all the people that subscribed from that video, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Hopefully you will enjoy this video as well. Without further ado, like I said in the previous episode review video for The Legend of Vox Machina, I am somewhat of a newer critter. I've only kind of been a critter for a few years. I came up towards the middle to end of Campaign 2, and I'm currently watching Campaign 3. But I do have some general knowledge of Vox Machina and their story and some of the side characters and things like that, and kind of where the characters are in present day. But in terms of how I feel the series is doing, so far I'm really enjoying the series. Those first 3 episodes were really more of just an introduction to the characters and to set up the overarching story of what I feel will be the season, which is the conflict with the Briarwoods and with trying to liberate Whitestone from their clutches. Let's talk about episode 3, which is the direct follow-up from last week's episodes, where Vox Machina has been reprimanded and been basically confined to their keep based off of the confrontation that they had with the Briarwoods by King Uriel. If I screw up names, I'm sorry. I'm trying. By King Uriel, but Lady Allura was able to reduce the sentence from just being locked up in prison to just being locked up in their keep, because there's obviously some sort of magic at play that Silas had charmed King Uriel, and this is probably a result of that. And also the fact that they just had a big ass battle on the front lawn is not necessarily something that would go down for an important dinner. We also finally get some more backstory and explanation from Percy about his actions, the crazy shit that happened, and they start to look through the tome that they stole from Delilah Briarwood, which she is now aware of, and sends some undead forces and creatures to retrieve the book at all costs. This episode really kicked up, for me, the season in sort of a high gear setting, because the assault on their compound was brutal for all of the NPCs, not counting the core crew and the captain who was there as well. But those deaths were brutal and a serious takedown, and they were glorious to watch. The animation, I can't stress enough, in this show is wonderful. They don't miss a beat, and the quality and time and energy put into even the smallest details, like the armor and the creature's ability to phase through the walls and attack them, and the black goo coming out of them, was just really well done, and I really liked it so much. We also see a lot of story being pinpointed on certain characters going forward, whereas the first 2-3 episodes really were kind of setting up all of the characters. I feel like going forward, we're going to specifically focus on not saying the important ones, but specifically focus on the ones that the main driving force of the story is really behind. For my interpretation, that really focuses primarily on Percy, Keyleth, and Pike to seem to be the driving force of this first season. Again, I never watched the Vox Machina Campaign 1 streams, so I'm unsure who else has a major role to play in the Briarwood, I'll say saga or arc. But based off of what I've seen with these first 6 episodes, it's definitely with Percy being the driving force, since this is his sort of revenge quest, and the rest of the team is being a supportive team, even though he, didn't admit to a lot of the stuff, a lot of his backstory, which again, in his defense, he even said, like, why would I just, I didn't have to tell you guys, but rightfully so, Vex was like, listen, when your past is going to kill us, we deserve at least a heads up. So I like how they aren't dwelling on the, oh, you weren't forthcoming and stuff like some series do. Like some series will take certain conflicts between the groups of people and just drag it out for so long that it doesn't have to be. And I think with the series only being 12 episodes, there's not a lot of room for just like fluff. They're really honing in on the important beats to drive the story forward, and that's something I'm really enjoying about the series. So that is something I really want to commend the writers and the animators and just the entire cast and crew of really kind of keeping the story really focused, but allowing for certain points of levity throughout the episodes as well, even though you're dealing with a much darker subject. I really like how also this episode sets up Keyleth's arc throughout the season as well, where she is very unsure about her abilities and stuff like that. So the fact that we're seeing a lot of her progression on screen is really wonderful to watch. I was curious a lot about Pike's situation as well, because I know she feels like the attack from episode 3 by Delilah on her is what severed her connection with the Everlight, but from the way I remember her demeanor in the first 2 episodes, it felt like it was already kind of strained. And I think that's why I like the fact that she is going off on her own journey right now in order to regain her connection. Because right now, I think episode 4 proved that she's a liability. And she knew that, and that's why she ended up leaving the group. Again, this is my interpretation of everything is solely from the animated series. If you do know a little bit more about why she left, I'm assuming it's because Ashley Johnson at the time was probably filming some stuff. And I remember in campaign 2, she had to step away from the table for a good chunk of episodes. So I'm assuming this is part of what she was dealing with when she was on a series or something during that initial campaign, and she couldn't be there every week. So that kind of makes sense. And it's interesting how they've incorporated that into the show, but also allowing us to continue and follow her away from the rest of the group so we can see her story progress on camera. So I'm glad that with the magic of animation and telling a story, not necessarily at like a table setting, but through an animated series, you're able to see the other characters doing other character shit. So you're able to follow Pike away from the rest of the group to get her story as well. So that's why I feel like this season is setting up those 3 to be the primary story-driven characters while still giving time to the other characters. Like, none of the other characters felt like they were lost in these episodes either. Even though the focus definitely shifts more to Percy and to Keyleth's growth as a leader, but we still see the tension between like Keyleth and Vex because her relationship with Vax is starting to grow. That all takes place in episode 5 when they finally leave Amon. It's the city of Amon. When they leave Amon to go to Whitestone. I am impressed I'm remembering names of cities and locations. So I'm very happy about that. Which that's a fun little road trip, which also gets the encounter of these weird beast dogs and stuff that is like the episode's main villains. We start to see more focus put on the relationships of Keyleth and Vax and Percy and Vex. Even at the end of episode 4, when Pike leaves, you can see not only Grog is upset, but Scanlan is also kind of down about it as well. Not as much as Grog is in the preceding episode 5. With the journey to Whitestone, which is a really good episode. I enjoyed it as well because we got that little campfire scene. I'm always for character-driven scenes. I love action, whole 9 yards, but when you give me a group of characters or one or two characters having a normal conversation is something that I will always eat up, especially in animation. The cut scenes between them talking about their most notable takedowns and stuff like that were really fun to watch. Keyless was funny, and I feel like I took it as like a little bit of an Easter egg for something that happened in Campaign 2 with Marisha when she was playing Beauregard. Because when Keyleth kills somebody not on purpose, but she knocks a guy in lava. And the guy's screaming in pain, obviously, because he's melting in lava. And Keyleth's like, oh no, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. And immediately I thought about, I forget which episode of Campaign 2, but they were breaking in to a magical school, and Beauregard murders a guard on the tower with acid, and like rolls over like, go sleep, go sleep, go sleep. And that was the immediate thing I picked up on. I don't know if that was what they were going for. It might have actually happened that way in the original campaign, but I just thought it was like a fun little thing. At least it's something I took away from it. Scanlan's just that man is a whore, and yeah, you can do this. You cannot do this character this way if you did not have the free reign that Amazon is allowing them to do with this series. You just can't, and it's funny. I love the quips throughout the episode, and then we jump back to Percy, who's being a buzzkill, and kind of kills it down. Speaking of Percy, let's talk briefly. Well, not briefly, because this kind of takes place across the 3 episodes where they're really questioning him about what was going on. How do you lost your cool? We get that. I understand it's stressful. But Keyleth even points it out. It's like, yo, what with the black smoke? Because everybody saw it when he puts on the mask. And I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and that's totally fine. When he does that, he's called No Mercy Percy, which I love alliteration. So if that's true, that's awesome. Just the brutal nature of when he encounters, what's the guy's name? The weird gnomish looking dude in episode 6. On his gun, he has the names of all the people, I guess his hit list. And I don't know, it looks like it was just carved on, but then once he kills Homeboy in episode 6, it disappears. So is it like a curse? Is it something that was placed on him by the Briarwoods? Because he did say like him and his sister were captured because they were betrayed by his teacher, and I guess they were experimented on for a number of weeks or something until he finally escaped. And we'll get to his sister, because that was a lovely little stinger at the end of episode 6. But is it some sort of remnants of what they did to him? Because he does mention that in episode 6 when they meet up with God, what is her name? Her name's right here. When they meet up with her, and he tells her, I am what they made me to be. And I'm curious what that is. I'm assuming we're going to see that probably within the next batch of episodes as we're rocketing towards the finale of season 1. Episode 5 actually ends with them getting to Whitestone, because it's interesting, and it's actually, I like how they set it up when Keyleth asks Percy, like, what's Whitestone like, when they're trying to get an idea what to expect. And he's describing it, and they show, like, scenes of how, like, beautiful it is with the I'm just going to say world tree. I know it's not the actual name, but that big tree. And just to cut to coming over the hill and seeing Whitestone in shambles and the tree dead, and they get up to the tree and they see people hanging dressed like them, which is it's a hell of a way to end the episode. And episode 6 goes right into them helping and teaming up with the Resistance. And he runs into his old friend Archie, who is a dwarf resistance leader, and they have to go on a rescue mission to save him. Which the rescue mission is hilarious, especially with Scanlan, Percy, and Vax trying to break into the back door. And the back door is like he's having trouble. He obviously, if you're playing the actual game, he's really screwing up those rolls. But it's a really funny scene. And even with Percy, like, I want to go find a window. And then 2 seconds, a couple minutes later, he comes falling on top of them. Like, I fell out of the window. I had a really good chuckle with that one while everyone else is breaking in the front way. With episode 6, with Percy going up again, I wish I could remember that guy's name. Let me look it up real fast. Time out.
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, I can't remember the guy's name. I tried looking it up. Apologies for the pause in the video. But it was the weird grayish looking guy. His picture's right here. If I find the name, it's going to be right there as well. But Percy's takedown of this guy was very satisfying. One thing I will admit, as unusually attractive that they have made Delilah and Silas, super hot for some reason. They do not shy away that these are evil people and they do evil things. Case in point, them bringing the townspeople in, and the poor little girl. Oh, poor little girl is like, did we win a contest or something? It's like, yeah, you're gonna be a part of something special. And the next time we see him is hanging off of a tree. Like, Jesus. But watching Percy take this guy down was satisfying. But it's also terrifying, like, how quickly Percy's persona shifts just by seeing them. Because I love that transition too. He sees them through the cages, and he's walking, and you know how the glasses are like this, and he walks in, and next thing you know, that crow medicine mask is on him. That's a dope transition, and I really like it a lot. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that, because Archie lets Percy know that his sister Cassandra is alive. Cassandra was the girl running with him when he was escaping in the flashback. But unfortunately, she is with Delilah. But the episode ends at that point, but it doesn't give us any sort of clues of her allegiance. She's just there. We'll just have to see in the next 3 episodes. Or at least I will have to see in the next 3 episodes. I'm pretty sure most people who are watching this probably already know what's going to happen. They're probably like yelling at me through the computer screen like, oh my god, you don't know what's about to happen. But overall, episodes 4 through 6 are definitely a tonal shift, even more than what we got in the first 3 episodes. And the first 3 episodes definitely let you know what the theme of this show was going to be. I do like complicated villains. I love a good complicated villain, but sometimes you just want to see the bad guy get their ass kicked. And that's one thing I'm really enjoying about how the series is setting up this first season so far. I don't know with the speed that they're going with right now if this is most likely going to resolve by episode 12, or if they're going to drag this into season 2. I would love for them to resolve it by episode 12, because that would give a wonderful open and closing to one story. And then we can jump into the next story or the next arc in season 2, and then hopefully we get a season 3, season 4, or whatever, however many arcs there were in the original campaign, if this is how they're doing it. I am glad we also got our quick one and done explanation at the beginning of episode 4, when Vax is straight up asked, like, am I gonna be a fucking vampire? And then you see Vex just look over at the window and you see his reflection, and he's like, I retract my question. I love the transformation between regular and this darker version of Percy. I love the detail of the names of the people he needs to take out on his gun. I think that's awesome. I like Keyleth's development. I think, this is really cool to see her beginnings and her growth, especially the moments where she is taking over that role that Pike kind of left her, like, you're their light now. Like, she is super protective of them, and you see it especially when she, I think it's called Wild Shape, when she shifts to different animals and stuff like that. So I'm really happy with that. I'm interested to see how Pike's going to get her powers back, basically, to reconnect herself with the Everlight. So overall, I'm excited. I'm still excited. I'm still hooked on this series. I ended up watching it twice before I record the review, just because I want to make sure I'm communicating my thoughts and my feelings about the series, nice and cleanly, because this series, these characters have a lot of history with a lot of people, and I want to make sure I'm doing this series the justice that it deserves, and giving my thoughts and my experience from watching it, especially watching it for the first time, to seeing these characters in action for the first time. Because again, I never watched Campaign 1, so I'm coming in this very fresh, very new, but I am curious to get your thoughts on what you thought of episodes 4 through 6. So let me know those thoughts in the comments down below. That is my spoiler review of episodes 4 through 6 of The Legend of Vox Machina. So hopefully you've had a chance to check them out, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you haven't watched my episode 1 through 3 spoiler review, please go check that out as well. Let me know your thoughts of that in the comments. Again, if you're new and you enjoyed this review, or enjoyed hearing my thoughts about it, or even check out some of my other videos, subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers, so hopefully we'll get to that this year, is kind of the hope. You can follow me on a lot of social media platforms listed at the end of this video. I do have a ton of videos on the channel right now that you're more than welcome to check out. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.